Are you looking for the best gaming keyboards? In this video we will look at some of the best gaming keyboards on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. SteelSeries Apex Pro Mini Wireless. The best gaming keyboard we've tested is the SteelSeries Apex Pro Mini Wireless. This wireless unit has an adjustable pre-travel distance feature, meaning you can set the sensitivity of your key presses or even assign two inputs depending on how far down you press your key. Whether you want a nearly instant actuation point for competitive gaming or a longer pre-travel distance for general typing, you can customize each key individually within a pretty wide range to best suit your needs. You can connect this board using its USB receiver or with up to 3 devices using Bluetooth, and the battery life lasts in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 hours with RGB enabled. This may not sound like much, but it's normal for a competitive gaming keyboard with similar features. If you're willing to disable the RGB lighting, you can extend the battery life for upwards of 150 hours. If you're still concerned about battery, there's also a wired-only version, the SteelSeries Apex Pro Mini. Or, if you prefer a full-size version of this keyboard, check out the SteelSeries Apex Pro. Number 2. Logitech G715. At an upper mid-range price point, our recommendation is the Logitech G715. It's a playful keyboard with a plush, cloud-shaped wrist rest, pastel-colored accents, and a nice underglow effect from the frosted RGB lighting strip around the unit. Although this board doesn't have the same degree of customization as our top pick, the SteelSeries Apex Pro Mini Wireless, its very low latency and overall gaming performance are just as fantastic. Additionally, it's a great out-of-the-box unit that requires minimal tweaking or programming to get it to feel just right. Whether you use it in a wired mode with the included USB-A to USB-C cable or wirelessly with its USB receiver, it delivers a responsive in-game experience with no noticeable delay, even if you're playing competitively. You can get this unit with your choice of Logitech's own GX switches in the usual offerings of linear red, tactile brown, or click blue, so you can pick the switch feeling you prefer. Number 3. Corsair K70 RGB TKL. At a mid-range price point, we recommend the Corsair K70 RGB TKL. In addition to its outstanding gaming performance, the K70 RGB TKL features excellent build quality with a hard plastic chassis, durable PBT keycaps, and ergonomic kickstands that open sideways, so you don't accidentally collapse them if you accidentally nudge your board. Performance-wise, this keyboard has a maximum polling rate of 8000 Hz, which means it reports your keystrokes to your computer much more often than most gaming keyboards. This feature contributes to this keyboard's near-millisecond latency and provides a very fluid and responsive in-game experience, especially when combined with the light-to-press Cherry MX switches. You can get this keyboard with either classic Cherry MX red switches or Cherry MX speed switches. Both switches feel very light and smooth, but the speed switches have a slightly shorter pre-travel, making them very quick to actuate. This keyboard is part of a larger Corsair K70 lineup that features keyboards of different sizes with slightly different features. While we recommend the TKL size here, as it gives you the most space on the side for mouse movements, you might prefer a larger board like the Corsair K70 RGB MK.2, which costs a little more but also includes a wrist rest. Number 4. Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition. The Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition is our recommendation for a budget model that doesn't compromise performance. This keyboard is an older model from Razer's flagship Huntsman lineup, meaning it features exceptionally low latency and gaming-focused optical switches that combine for a very fluid and responsive in-game experience. The Razer optical switches have a linear feel with a very short pre-travel distance and a feather-light actuation force. While these switches are excellent for gaming, you might find yourself making more typos while chatting with friends because even a light touch can accidentally register a key press. However, since it's a budget model, it's missing a few extra features found on something a bit more premium, like the Corsair K70 RGB TKL mentioned above. For example, the Razer doesn't have dedicated media keys, a volume wheel, or a higher than average polling rate. So, if you don't mind the more stripped down nature of the board, it's the best bang for your buck. Number 5. SteelSeries Apex 3 TKL. For a cheaper option, look no further than the SteelSeries Apex 3 TKL. Its 10 keyless form factor leaves you plenty of space on your desk for sweeping mouse movements, and while most options on this list use more mechanical switches, this keyboard has rubber dome switches. These switches are fairly light to press, and they are very quiet compared to most mechanical switches. This switch type is also more resistant to small spills and debris. However, they have a longer pre-travel, so they feel a bit less responsive. The latency on this keyboard is higher than on more premium options, so we don't recommend it for high-stakes competitive play, but it's more than suitable for casual gaming in any genre. It also has some extra features which are rare at this price point, including the ability to set macros to any key, dedicated media keys, and a volume wheel. It has RGB lighting, but the keys aren't individually lit, so you only have 8 customizable zones. If you'd prefer a more traditional form factor, there's a full-size version of this keyboard, the SteelSeries Apex 3. It's virtually identical apart from its size, but it also includes a wrist rest and is typically only a bit more expensive. Number 6. Wooting 2He. The Wooting 2He pushes gaming keyboards in a different direction, and it's our recommendation if you're an enthusiast looking for the best gaming board you can find. Like our top pick, the SteelSeries Apex Pro Mini Wireless, the Wooting 2He has proprietary switches that allow you to control the pre-travel distance of each key. However, the Wooting gives you a few more millimeters range when customizing the pre-travel distance, from an ultra-sensitive 0.1 mm to a lengthy 4.0 mm. As an added plus, the companion software has a web-based version, so you don't have to load your PC up with bloatware to customize your keyboard. There are tons of software features to play around with, including not one but 2 multi-input features, so you can dial in your keybinds exactly the way you want for playing competitive titles where every millisecond counts. On top of it all, this keyboard has an analog mode, which mimics the inputs of a gamepad controller and provides very fine control over inputs, making it a great choice if you're also a fan of racing games or flight sims. It's important to note that this keyboard isn't available through any popular online retailers. Instead, you'll have to order the keyboard on Wooting's website.